Customs or rituals involved within Mexican culture. Their values include a high value on hierarchy and structure in business and family matters. The country is closely associated with the mariachi style of folk music, originated in the southern part of Jalisco. It involved a group of musicians playing violins, guitars, basses, and trumpets, and wearing silver-studded suits and elaborate hats. In the cities, fashion in Mexico is influenced by international trends, so the typical urban Mexican dresses are similar to people in Europe and the United States. The piñata is an entertaining Mexican culture. It is filled with fruit and candies and is widely used to celebrate children's birthdays. Also, bullfighting is popular in Mexico and it is a well-established part of the culture. What holidays does Mexican culture observe? The Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is celebrated on December 12th. This celebrates the appearance of the Virgin Mary to an Indian man in the first years of Spanish rule. The Day of the Dead, celebrated on November 2nd, is a day set aside to remember and honor those who have died. Independence Day, marking the country's separation from Spain in 1810, is celebrated on September 16th. Cinco de Mayo, which marks a Mexican military victory over the French in 1862.
Americans have taken food from the Mexican culture and tried to make it their own, such as street tacos or elotes, which would be street corn. Also, they've taken holidays. Americans celebrate Cinco de Mayo, basically like it's their own, which is a traditional Mexican culture. Also, Americans have taken music from the Mexican culture by transforming it into English. There recently was just a song by Justin Bieber that is known in the Mexican culture, and he is singing it in Spanish, which would be a contribution that we have taken and put it into our dominant culture. The misconceptions about the Mexican culture. Number one would be that all Mexicans are illegal, which are untrue. Number two would be that all Mexicans speak Spanish, which also is a widely known stereotype that people always think that just because you are Hispanic looking or Mexican looking that you automatically know Spanish. And number three would be that all Mexicans are from Mexico, which also there are Mexicans who are born in the United States. And number four would be that all people who speak Spanish are Mexican, which that is another stereotype that is untrue because there are Latinos, Colombians, there's all different types of races besides just being Mexican. These are most common stereotypes that are made about Mexican cultures, but all these are most likely untrue. And a lot of people use these stereotypes to identify people of the Mexican culture.
Mexican food is best known for their home-style, authentic taste, not to be confused with Tex-Mex. They're also known for their street foods, such as tacos, tamales, and quesadillas. It is said that traditional Mexican food has been the same for thousands of years, first prepared by the Mayan Indians.
Food. Typical Hispanic cuisine include dishes such as tamales, tacos, tortillas, papayas, and various salsas, and other condiments, guacamole, pico de gallo, and chili. Food beverages. Hispanic beverages are a great complement to their food. These drinks include soda pops, coffee, citrus juices and nectars, chocolate flavored drinks, beers, and tequila. Family structure. Father. Respect and authority occupies the position of father in his Hispanic household. Traditional view of manhood defines the male role to be strong, brave, and honorable. They should protect and provide for their families. Men are placed over women, which gives males privileges and rights denied to women, like independence and authority. Mother. The mothers in the Hispanic culture are primarily caregivers. Motherhood is highly valued. The Hispanic culture believed that women should be religious and attentive to the household. If the women do work outside of the home, they must fulfill their traditional role. Family, children. Parents of the Hispanic culture expect their children to be responsible and cooperative. Their children are taught not to talk too much to authority figures. The relationship with extended family is typical within the Hispanic community, which can protect adolescents from negative peer influence.
It is said that 88% of Mexico's population identifies themselves as Catholic. The most popular symbol of the church is the Virgin of Guadalupe.
Here are some of the differences and similarities of Mexican culture to the US dominant culture. Starting with religion, majority of Mexicans are Catholics, which is Roman Catholics, whereas Protestantism is the dominant religion of the United States. Norms and values. People from Mexican culture are more family oriented than the people of US dominant culture. They believe in social class. Social class is important to the people from Mexican culture, whereas people from US dominant culture believe more in individualism and freedom. Also, the family size is bigger in Mexican culture. Clothing. It depends upon the class of the people. They have traditional clothing in rural areas and similar to the US fashion in cities, which is predominantly informal. Um, Food. Mexican people are known for their food. Corn is known to play a big part in their culture, in Mexican culture, whereas there is no food in particular in U.S. dominant culture. In the U.S., the food depends upon um, states and people. Holidays. People from both the cultures celebrate Christmas. In addition to that, Mexicans celebrate Cinco de Mayo and the Day of the Dead. Whereas people from US dominant culture celebrate Thanksgiving, Memorial Day, and many other federal holidays. Schools. School system um, is the same in both the cultures. They have elementary, junior high, and high school in both the cultures. Both have private and public schools. Conversations between Mexican culture and the US dominant culture. It isn't surprising that misunderstandings occur when people of two different cultures communicate. Starting with language barrier, the language for Mexican culture is Spanish, whereas English is the US dominant language. So there's often misinterpretations when giving meaning to whatever another said. Perception variation. Perceptions are culturally determined. We believe and see things in what we've trained to see and what we've been seeing. For example, people of Mexican culture may seem to agree when they really do not, which means respect for people of Mexican culture, but US dominant culture seems to be pretty straightforward. Nonverbal communication. The US culture encourages firm handshakes, strong eye contact, and smiles, whereas in Mexican culture there is less physical distance between two people conversing, softer handshakes, more touching, and abrasos. Time difference. US culture is the most fast-paced in the world. Time is money, coined by Benjamin Franklin, is uh, is what they believe in, um, and which is what varies among people of Mexican culture. The pace of life and work varies among the people of Mexican culture. American people believe in saving time, whereas Mexicans live at a slower pace. They see time as opportunity and not money.